What's going on, my fellow A-plusers, fellow patrons? Certainly good to see each and every one of you back once again. Welcome to A Plus More Phenomenal. It is I, your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez, back again, guys, as we have ourselves an early access Patreon video for our Boom Studios comic books that usually drop every Wednesday and then become available to the public that weekend, either that Saturday or Sunday. But today, guys, we're getting into Power Rangers issue number 3 that just came out this past week, guys. Last weekend, we actually did a preview for this issue, so now it's time to certainly go ahead and get into it. This comes to us from Mr. Ryan Parrott himself and illustrated by Mr. Francisco Martorino, if I pronounced that correctly. So yeah, we're definitely going to be getting into it, guys. But look, you guys know how this works. If you love our channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and of course, that big like button, guys. If you love the content, we continue to dish out each and every week, guys. So let's go ahead and get into Power Rangers issue number 3. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. Out of the 2 titles that we've gotten so far, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, my preference right now is that of Mighty Morphin. I'm actually waiting for more things to actually happen when it comes to Power Rangers. Like, there is a cool aspect about the space sort of intergalactic, traveling and stuff that we see our Omega Rangers going on, our team with Zach, Trini, and Jason all together. First issue, I think we were introduced to the Imperials and things like that, right? Our Omega Rangers clearly wanting some assistance from the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team and Zordon. But I gotta say, man, ever since that issue, in issue number 1, I don't want to say that this has felt like filler issues in issues 2 and 3, but I guess a part of me just doesn't really have the connection to the Horrid as maybe Ryan Parrott is trying to hope that some of the fans get connected to. They're just a group of villains that haven't quite connected with me personally, and so it feels as though this is just kind of giving our Power Rangers something to do until they actually get to sort of their main focus, if you will, or whatever the main storyline is certainly going to be revolving around. Like, anytime Lord Drakkon is on a page, I'm completely in tune. Anytime it's our Rangers and Zai, or however they want to pronounce the robot's name, I'm definitely in tune. But just the random sort of villains that we get introduced to, that's only around for like a 2-story arc, I'm just not getting connected to them. Now, I don't think we've seen the last of the Horrid by any stretch of the imagination, the idea of these space vampires, if you will. I definitely feel they'll probably have a significant role to play at some particular point in time, but it does feel as though we've kind of gotten that story out of the way, and now we're moving on to our other one, and it just felt as though issues 2 and 3 are kind of that filler episode to kind of guide you till you get to another main story plot, if that certainly makes sense. So I haven't been super pleased with it, but it doesn't mean I hated the issue, because I certainly did not whatsoever. While I'm not the biggest fan of the Horrid, I do appreciate Ryan Parrott's sort of origin story for them, right? To kind of explain to them, kind of explain to us at least, that the Horrid used to not be this way. Unfortunately, due to their sort of arrogance, hubris, if you will, destroying their own planet because of the fact that they wanted to try and communicate with others that were out there, right? I think he talks about the idea that they've sort of tamed their population. Let me see what he says here. It says, first we tamed our world, then our own nature, and then we turned our attention beyond. And so you come to find out that now that this group has kind of established themselves very well into this world, there is sort of an arrogance about them, I guess you can say, really kind of pushing the envelope to discover what else is certainly out there. And unfortunately, in their doing so, they wind up destroying their planet and really scattering their people, really killing them and scattering those that in fact survived into some sort of like weird dimension that they can kind of phase in and phase out of. And so they've kind of been in this kind of trapped dimension for hundreds of years, it seems like, according to the main leader in here, and it's definitely has changed this group into something completely else. So I am fascinated really by the Horrid's past and their origin story, and just to see all the shit luck that they've had over the past 100 years of having to adapt and survive out here in space, if you will, kind of surviving and drawing the life of people in nearby, space stations or spaceships or whatever the case they certainly come across. So it almost reminds me of like locusts. The idea that they just kind of, there's just so many of them type of thing, and they just really take from you what they certainly want to. So they definitely do have that great villain vibe about them that I certainly appreciate. But again, just utilize them in these two issues, kind of throwing them aside really quickly with what Lord Drakkon winds up doing here in this issue. It just almost felt like, while it was thought out, they were just thrown in here to kind of help our Rangers get from one location to the other, and they just needed a story in between to kind of hold this over, if you will. So again, we'll see if the Horrid has a significant role going forward. I do continue to love the chemistry here between our Rangers. I love the fact here that we get to see them trying to organize themselves, trying to figure out exactly how to take down the Horrid here, especially when you don't know what Lord Drakkon is certainly up to. But look, leave it up to Lord Drakkon, right, to be the one to kind of pull the wool over everybody's eyes. He definitely is playing up that game of you're never going to know what side he's certainly on. But you clearly come to find out that Lord Drakkon will certainly take advantage of any situation that he finds himself in that will benefit him sort of the most, right? Like if you have the Horrid King here telling you he's going to kill you, right? You better start kissing that ass, bro. You better, right? Like you better start making sure that you get into the good graces of this guy, and what he winds up doing is offering up the Omega Rangers. But look, Lord Drakkon's smarter than that, right? He's got to know that the Omega Rangers themselves are going to be smarter and overcome whatever obstacle you kind of put in front of them. So I am wondering if Lord Drakkon was just kind of biding his time, right? Just to see what the outcome is going to be. And I love the fact that Trini even pulls that up too. The idea that she says, look, while you might have done that, Drakkon, there's no fooling me in knowing that you would have picked any side to certainly help out whoever you thought was certainly going to come out on top, right? So you clearly are, in fact, helping out the Horrid King from the very beginning. And then when you see the situation and the tide's turning, then maybe you certainly go back and start working with the Rangers again. Who knows? Maybe that was part of Lord Drakkon's plan all the time, to kind of knowing that Zai was certainly going to hear him over the communicator, know what Lord Drakkon's plan, and then kind of plan accordingly to kind of work alongside him. I'm not quite sure how that worked out, but I can tell you right now, I do feel very much like Trini in the sense that Lord Drakkon probably would have done whatever benefited him the most. Like, I am wondering though if that's going to be the swerve that maybe Ryan Parrott is working on, that clearly while the entire team distrusts Lord Drakkon for certainly good intentions, maybe at some point in time, Lord Drakkon will show his true intentions of actually maybe wanting to work with this team and actually liking these group of characters more than he's actually showcasing to us. We'll certainly see, but I do love the fact that you're not going to fool Trini, man. And again, when I think we talked a little bit about Trini in issue number 2, how she's really growing on me as far as a character, really kind of taking the lead. I don't want to say taking the lead as far as like the leader of this team, but as far as like the comic book series goes, I really love the way that Ryan Parrott is handling Trini in here, to be perfectly honest with you. I love the fact that she even says, the only time I will come to trust you, Lord Drakkon, is if you really do have to make a decision as to either sacrificing yourself to save others or turn your tail and run. And, she's really waiting for that moment to truly tell him, to truly teach her who Lord Drakkon is sort of at the end of the day. Let me see if I can find that quote here. He says, what is it going to take to get you to finally trust me? And she says, honestly, the moment you find yourself stuck between saving yourself or sacrificing your life for the greater good, and somehow you do the latter. And he says, yes, but at that point, I'll be dead. A small price to pay for my trust and admiration. I love that. I love the dialogue, Ryan Parrott. I truly do. And it just could show me just how smart and brilliant and how much of a badass Trini certainly is, because she's definitely not going to let her guard down with Lord Drakkon. And I think Lord Drakkon knows that. And I'm just wondering if he's just poking and prodding this team, just effing around with them to see their reactions. But maybe he really is going to kind of be on their side kind of going forward. We'll definitely see. Again, Issues 2 and 3, not my favorite, but I do come out at least enjoying the characters a little bit more. I'm even loving just the relationship that even Zach has with their new pet on the ship type of thing, right? Like there's a reluctant friendship that's kind of growing there. And by the end of issue 3 here, you do see that it is in fact kind of growing there. So I do enjoy that aspect. But hopefully we'll do get a little bit more a stronger storytelling, because like I feel like when I read Mighty Morphin, I feel like that is like a I never really feel like there's a filler episode in there. I feel a filler issue. I honestly feel like it just tells its story seamlessly. Whereas when it comes for Power Rangers, for some reason, I feel like the Horrid was just kind of a filler villains for 2 issues until we actually get to our destination, which we see at the end of this particular issue, which I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I really would recommend you guys certainly pick this up. Again, this came out this past Wednesday. So yeah, go ahead and check your local comic book stores, and if not, definitely go ahead and download it digitally from Comixology.com. Again, it's a great source for your comic books if you can't make it out to support your local comic book store. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for us here for our Power Rangers issue number 3 review for you guys. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. And as always, guys, listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, that bell notification, and hit that like button if you like our content. And of course, we're always going to be doing Boom Studios comic book reviews for you guys here, always available as early access Wednesdays for you Power Ranger fans, and then eventually over the weekend for you fellow viewers and subscribers. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining me today. I'll certainly see you guys this weekend. So until then, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.